All right, the Orwellian beast system just got another brick in the wall in its infrastructure and its framework. We're going to talk about the new digital identification mandate that's being rolled out across the United Kingdom, the ramifications of this, the parallels of Revelation 13 and the mark of the beast. We've got it all today.
The following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, what's up, family, friends, viewers, listeners, everyone that's joining us today. This is End Time Headlines, news and headlines from a prophetic perspective, and I am your host, pastor, founder, and voice of End Time Headlines, Ricky Scaparo. We want to welcome you to tonight's program. This is the last day of September of 2025. We're talking about Tuesday, September 30th. It is the 8 p.m. Eastern hour, 7 p.m. Central, depending on where you're tuning in from, maybe whatever time zone it is. Look, wherever you're joining us from, if you're new, let us know in the chat or in the comments that you're new and where you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you. Myself, and our admins, you'll see them in the chat. They'll have the little blue wrench. We always want to welcome you to the program. We've got a lot to cover today. I feel like I'm a step behind because there's so much news and so much information that's just flooding and coming out so quickly that it's really difficult to keep up. So we try to roll these out as quickly as possible and try to keep it relevant and up to date of what's going on. So today, before we get started, I'm going to talk about the mandatory digital identification system. But before we do that, help us out, guys. Hit that like button. We had at one point, we had 1,300 people live last night in the chat. So we want to see if we could get everybody to hit that like button. It would help push this out on these algorithms. So if you could take just a second to do that, we would really appreciate that. And if you want to catch all of our programs here on YouTube and make sure you're tuned into that, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That's going to help you do that as well. So I want to get right into this, guys. Look at this headline. This says it all right here. All right, new digital identification will be mandatory to work in the United Kingdom. We're going to read a little bit of this kind of as a backdrop, and then we'll give you the actual speech. Digital identification will be mandatory in order to work in the United Kingdom as part of plans to tackle illegal migration. So this is the whole excuse of why they're rolling this out. This is the premise of what and why they're doing this. Sir Keir Starmer said the new digital ID scheme would make it tougher to work in the UK illegally and offer countless benefits to citizens, while his senior minister, Darren Jones, said it could be the, quote, the bedrock of the modern state. Now, not everybody agrees with this, and we'll show you some opposing views on this as well in this program. However, opposition parties argue the proposals would not stop people crossing the channel in small boats. The Prime Minister set out his plans in a broader speech to a gathering of world leaders in which he said it has been, quote, too easy for people to work illegally in the UK because the center left had been squeamish about saying things that were clearly true. I'm going to pull this back. We're going to watch this. We're going to watch his speech, but you have to ask yourself, if this is happening in the United Kingdom, if this Orwellian system is now being put place in the UK, we know, guys, it's coming here. It's coming to the United States. I don't know when. I don't know how fast it may come, but we know, we can see it coming. We see the precursors to this. We see all the warning signs. Everything, as we've said it before, our neighbors in the north, Canada, when we see things like this happening in the UK, all this stuff is coming right at our door.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work. by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
Wow. Let's rewind that. Let's hear it again.
United Kingdom, if you do not have digital ID. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
Now, for you guys who know your word very well, you will know that this statement is very eerie, similar to what will be taking place and mandatory when the beast system is fully intact in Revelation 13. Let's just check it out. I'm going to read this. The false prophet who will be responsible for rolling out this system, and this happens in mid-tribulation, by the way, Revelation chapter 13. Look what it says here, verse 16. He causes, and again, the he here is the false prophet. He causes all, both small, great, rich, poor, free, slave, to receive a mark in. It says on here because I'm using the New King James, but we're going to go with in because the original language, 1611, King James says in. So in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, this will be mandatory, and without it, you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade without this mark, the name or the number of the beast. That's Revelation 13:16, friend. And that's why, listen, all of Bible teachers, Bible prophecy teachers, those who teach eschatology, when they hear these kind of things, they read these kind of things, they see these kind of headlines and articles, all the alarm bells are going off because this is absolutely paving the way for this beast system. Let's go back. Let's listen to the rest of this speech so we can get the full context of this, and then we're going to talk about this more.
It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes. Mark Carney, who stormed to victory. For too many years, it's been too easy for people to come here, slip into the shadow economy, and remain here illegally. Because, frankly, we've been squeamish about saying things that are clearly true. It's not just that it's not compassionate left-wing politics to rely on labour that exploits foreign workers and undercuts fair wages, but the simple fact that every nation needs to have control over its borders. We do need to know who is in our country. Our immigration system does need to be fair if we want to maintain that binding contract that our politics is built on. Otherwise, it undermines trust, undermines people's faith that we're on their side, and their belief that the state can and will work for them.
Wow. Now, guys, I'm going to ask you to do some homework here. I need you to remember that speech. Try to get the highlights of it, the points of it. Number one, it'll be this digital identification system in the United Kingdom will be mandatory to every citizen. If they want to work and be employed, they're going to have to get it. Number two, it's being done in the name of identifying who is legally there and who is not. So this is their solution to weeding out the illegals. And they're saying that this is going to put a stop to it. So the entire populace will be forced to get a digital identification system. Now let's read this. Americans traveling to Europe will have fingerprints scanned under new rule. All right, American tourists going to Europe will have their fingerprints and facial image scanned beginning on October 12th. 29 European countries are participating in new entry-exit system. Visitors who don't comply with the new screening guidelines cannot enter the country. Let me repeat that. If you are an American and you're going to Europe, you will be required to have your fingerprints and facial image recognition. And that's what we're talking about here. Scanned beginning on the 12th of October. 29 European countries are already on board with this. And if you don't comply, you will not be able to enter the country. All right, check it out. Starting on the 12th of October, European countries will use this new automated entry-exit system, and Americans can expect to have their fingerprints and facial images scanned and gathered, look at this, and gathered and stored digitally at European borders. This is a digital database. That's what this is. Fingerprints of children under the 12 years of age are not scanned, even if they're subjected to the EES. Under the new requirements, American tourists must provide information from their passports, including their name, date of birth. The new system, oh yeah, the new system is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's forming. It's in its early stages. We're talking about the B system. Now, I want to say, when I say early stages, I'm not talking about if we're going from 1 to 10, it's in a 2. I'd say we're more than halfway there.
If you're planning a trip to Europe, you're going to have to hand over way more than your passport when you get there. As part of a new entry-exit system, visitors to most European countries will have to provide 4 fingerprints and a facial photo at a self-operated kiosk. The information will be stored for 3 years, with the photo being used for ID verification on later visits. Travelers who refuse to provide their biometric data will be denied entry. The goal of the program is to enhance security and speed up border crossings, it is said. The new system is set to be rolled out over 6 months, starting in October, and applies to 29 countries, including popular destinations like France, Italy, and Spain.
And guys, don't think this technology ain't already rolling out in America. Look at this. Arizona State football game will test, quote, facial recognition system experiment. After 2 sold-out home football games and record student turnouts, Arizona State officials are looking for ways to ease entry to jam-packed Mountain America Stadium, so the school is turning to facial recognition technology for help. ASU will begin using the technology on a trial basis for student ticketing as early as in October 25th game against Houston. Mike Metten, Senior Associate Athletic Director and Head of Ticketing and Business Analytics at ASU, believes the system will be welcomed by students. Of course it will. And eventually all fans. Quote, we feel confident, really confident about it. As a student, if you enroll in this program, you will, quote, walk through the gate and walk by the scanner, and it will turn green without ever having to take your ticket out of your phone. Look at that.
Note that a spokesperson for the university tells me that right now this technology is just being explored for the future. But most students I spoke with jumped at the idea, saying that it would be more efficient.
Something us as students care about as well is how fast we can get in there and get food or whatever and watch a good game.
Honestly, I would. I think just it would make things faster.
I wouldn't have an issue with that.
Getting into ASU football games could get a lot easier in the future. A spokesperson for the university confirming facial recognition is one of the areas of technology university officials are researching for potential use down the road.
We've seen this at airports. If you've got facial recognition, rather than having to go up to a desk and either show a ticket or sort of have a conversation, you have a machine that just looks at your face. If you're good to go, it green lights you and you go straight through.
Andrew Maynard is a professor of innovative and emerging technology at ASU.
Every time somebody mentions facial recognition technology, you ask questions about privacy. Is this invading privacy?
He says this type of tech always initially raises concerns about where the data goes, but Maynard says there are existing guardrails that keep it secure.
So it's not like it's kept on file or anything like that?
That's correct. There are sort of little bits of code that allow them to match up what the machine sees of your face with what's in the database, but nobody actually has that private information.
It's something Maynard uses regularly and trusts to get through customs.
But this is typically how these systems are set up these days, where it is really very, very private.
Though many students are excited to get into the stadium faster, others not quite on board yet.
I just think it's impractical. I'd rather scan a ticket than have to show my face.
So the ease and convenience of the beast system and technology is here, ladies and gentlemen. As I've stated over and over again, the beast system will be embraced open-armed. Just like we have a generation now that open arms embraces all forms of new technology. Why would they not embrace this? In the name of ease, comfort, reliability, security, convenience, they will embrace it wholeheartedly, and this is why this is not shocking to me. All right, according to a report, Vietnam deleted, look at this, 86 million bank accounts under a new biometric verification rules. This is crazy. Vietnam's recent decision to delete over 86 million bank accounts underscores growing concerns over centralized control of personal finances. As biometric verification becomes, quote, mandatory, critics argue that sweeping closures expose the vulnerability of traditional banking. The event has sparked renewed interest in decentralized alternatives such as Bitcoin, which operates independently of government or institutional oversight. Again, in more details of this, Vietnamese commercial banks began removing over 86 million bank accounts in early September of this year, this month, after the state of the Bank of Vietnam enforced, look at this, new biometric requirements. Authorities say the policy targets accounts lacking face or fingerprint verification and aims to curb fraud, cybercrime, and money laundering. Wow. So here you have the UK that's making it mandatory for a digital identification system in order to combat illegal immigration. Here you have Vietnam, who has wiped out 86 million bank accounts. Why? Because they lacked facial recognition, fingerprint verification. These people wasn't on board. They're not jumping on board. And all of this is aimed to, and I quote, curb fraud, cybercrime, and money laundering. I'm telling you guys, the push is here for this. And they're gonna package this up to make it appealing to the masses to comply to it. Now, RFK Jr. chimed in on the mandatory digital identification system in the United Kingdom. Let's check this out. Listen what he had to say about this.
Hey, what we're seeing today is what I call turnkey totalitarianism. They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control.
Wait, time out. This is coming from the same guy that says he envisions all Americans wearing a wearable device on their arms or their hands or whatever the case, on their bodies.
We think that wearables are a key to the Maha agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
Amazon just bought a wearable AI startup that listens to everything you say on purpose. The startup is called Bee, and they make a $50 wristband. This wristband records, transcribes, and summarizes conversations that you have throughout the day. Think of it as an AI assistant that you don't even have to talk to. It just listens, learns, gives you summaries, to-dos, and reminders. Now, after doing some research, I also found that it's paired with a $19 per month subscription. So $50 for the band and then $19 per month for a personal memory and task manager. Amazon hasn't publicly said how much they paid, but their goal is clear. They want to build smarter, more proactive AI that lives with you. Almost like Alexa, but fully wearable and with you at all times. When I say an AI that's always listening, that probably raises some eyebrows. But B claims that all audio is processed in real time and then deleted instantly. It doesn't go to the cloud, and it's not used to train an AI by default. Privacy experts are still concerned, and for good reason. We already know that our phones listen to basically everything we say, and now we're throwing a wearable on our wrist that does the same thing. This may not sound like a super attractive product to you now, but I do think it's a glimpse into the future. I expect Apple, Meta, OpenAI, Google to all follow suit with something like this. Tailored AI wearables are the future.
And so this is unbelievable, guys. You talking about the pot calling the kettle black. You talking about double standards and hypocrisy. This is at its fine. Let me rewind this.
We've never seen totalitarianism. They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control we've never seen before. It's been the ambition of every totalitarian state from the beginning of mankind to control every aspect of behavior, of conduct, of thought, and to obliterate dissent. None of them have been able to do it. They didn't have the technological capacity. Today, the mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide.
Wow. I mean, I don't disagree with him. He's 100% right, but it just kind of loses its luster and it loses its ability to resonate when, again, what have I said, guys? Two wings of the same bird. This is silly to get up there and say something like this when this same administration is doing this. They're spearheading the same technology. They're in bed with, they're locked arms with all these guys that are innovating this stuff and creating this stuff and the infrastructure for this stuff. Hello, Stargate, all this stuff. So this is unbelievable. I mean, I don't disagree with what he's saying. It's absolutely 100% spot on.
Within 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Every right that you have is transformed into a privilege contingent upon your obedience to arbitrary government dictates.
Now, what does that sound like? Does that not sound like Revelation 13? Guys, seriously, like you need to call your neighbor. You need to get your family members in a meeting. You need to go to your coworkers, your neighbor. Send them a video like this. For those people, the naysayers, and people say, well, that stuff will never happen. It's all fairy tales. It's all fables. And it's a bunch of nonsense. And you Bible thumpers have made up this stuff, all this stuff. What more proof do you need? Now, 2,000 years ago, when John the Revelator wrote in 95 AD, that there would come a system of buying, selling, and trading that would make it mandatory for something to be put in the right hand or in the forehead that they won't be able to buy, sell, or trade. That looks so far out there. Even 30 years ago, guys, nobody could figure that out and be like, how in the world is that ever going to come to pass? And here we are in 2025. This man's and RFK Jr.'s speech right here that he's telling you, he's telling you the truth. He's spot on. But the sad part is, I think he's blind to his own involvement in it. But we're here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back. I want to listen to the rest of this, but this is just unbelievable.
It will make you a slave. And what do we do about this? What do? We resist. I'm going to tell you 3 rules you all need to know and memorize. Number 1, every power that government takes from us, it will never relinquish voluntarily. Number 2, every power they take from us, they will ultimately abuse to the maximum extent possible.
True.
Number 3, nobody in history of the planet has ever complied their way out of totalitarian control. Every capitulation is a signal to the oppressors to impose new forms of torment or torture or compliance or obedience. Every time you comply, you get weaker. Bullies cannot be appeased. It just encourages them to new forms of torture and torment. Every time you say yes, you're getting pushed back to a weaker position. That's why we need to resist today.
Well, I mean, and he nailed it. The speech was incredible. I mean, he nailed it to a T. And the interesting part, he talked about resisting the system. Did you know in Revelation, chapter 20, Revelation 13, they roll out this beast system. They enforce it. They make it mandatory to all. And then you get all the way over here to Revelation 20. Let me pull this up. Revelation 20. Look at this. Here is what happens to those who resist this system. John said in verse 4, Revelation 20. Again, we appreciate you guys on Apple and Spotify. That's why I always give these Bible verses for you guys to follow along with us. Again, if you enjoy our content, help us out. Give us a good review. That's just like hitting that like button for us. Anyway, Revelation 24, and I saw thrones and they sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. And then I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for their witness to Jesus. Watch this. And for the word of God. All right, let's go. Who, look at this, had not worshiped the beast or his image and had not received his mark. Again, this is in their foreheads or in their or in their hands. Let me say that again. Here, John sees souls that had been slain who had refused to capitulate. They refused to compromise. They refused to bow down to the image and worship it. They refused to take this mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And John specifically tells you that they will be killed by beheading. That's in your Bible, Revelation chapter 20, verses 3 through 5. Now, I know that sounds extreme. But let's look at this for a second and think about this logically. So at one point, as I said, at one time, you had this system of buying, selling, trading without, or by putting a mark in the right hand and in the forehead. 30, 40 years ago, this looked far-fetched, looked like there's no way this is going to come to pass. We can't figure this out. Now we can see it. And if the Lord tarries, it's going to get more and more clear of how we're going to get to Revelation 20, because think about this, if the false prophet is the one who rolls this out, he's the one who enforces this. Read it. It's not the Antichrist. Revelation 13, it's the false prophet who institutes the mark of the beast. So in my opinion, the Antichrist he's like a military leader. He's like a general, like a global leader who comes on the scene. He will rule by political rule. He will have a military. He'll have armies that will rise up. And the Bible says he rises up with a small army and becomes great. And then we know that 10 kings eventually, who have no kingdoms, they surrender over to him. So he begins to build his army. But the false prophet is, the Bible describes him as a lamb with 2 horns. So this man is, and this agrees with most theologians and scholars that deal with eschatology. This will be like a type of, and I'm not saying it is, so just listen to my words very closely, almost like a type of an apostate pope or some type of world religious leader who will likely merge 2 major religions together under one umbrella. And this, whatever this world global religion is, this will be the religion of the Antichrist. And that image of the beast will be connected to that. And the mark of the beast will also be connected to that as well, to the religion of that beast system. Now, I just want to throw this out at you. You go and do your own homework. I'm not going to go any further than this. I'm just going to throw a bone out there and you can do what you want with it. But you go and study what world religions still behead people in the earth. Go study it out, and then we'll talk about this later. Let me get back to this beast system. Okay, let me talk about this digital identification system. Somebody else that I always enjoy his perspectives on this. So we're gonna pull up Glenn Beck here. I want to see what he has to say. I have not watched this, so we're gonna watch this together. This is a reaction. It's titled "Why the UK is Really Forcing Digital ID on Workers."
Let me tell you what I heard from Keith Starmer on Friday that made my blood run a little cold. He is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and here's what he said at the Reform Conference. Listen to this.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes, looking upstream to tackle poverty, conflict, climate change, issues that aren't just intolerable for those of us who care about inequality and injustice wherever it's found in the world, but which have clear consequences for our own citizens.
Wow, that is fantastic. So let me just tell you what he's saying here. First of all, it's a new free service from the government, so it's free. It's me, of course. But he's saying that they have a problem in Europe. See if you can relate to this at all. They have a problem in England with people coming across, the water and just invading the country, and then they're taking all the jobs from decent Brits, and they haven't stopped them. They're welcoming them in. They're not turning them away. They're not sending them back home or anything. But to solve the problem instead, they're just going to have everybody have a digital identity. That way, you'll know if they're a British citizen or not. Okay.
Right.
There's an easier way to solve this. I don't know. You just stop the illegal immigration. You would send people back. You do that. You do that. No. Now.
Yeah, but to be fair, is that really working here? I mean, some may argue yes, but it's also, we're seeing what's happening with the ICE, the uprising against ICE agents, the protests, Antifa's getting involved. So I'm just saying it's a mess.
I want you to understand, and I don't know if I have time to get into this today, but this is the way progressivism works. They create the idea, and then they cause the problem that they can go back and say, we need to do this to solve this problem. Okay? So they've caused the problem of illegal immigration. They've caused the problem of all of these things happening on their streets. But don't worry, they've already designed the answer, and it's digital identity. Now, it was just voted in Switzerland, and Australia already has it. Okay, so let me just give you an idea of digital identity. This is from the World Economic Forum. This is how they are describing what digital identity will do, okay? It will give the users access. Now just think, what's left in your life? It will give you access to insurance, to healthcare treatment.
Here's the sales pitch.
To monitor your health devices. It will monitor your wearables. And it will be for care providers to demonstrate their qualifications. So you can look up, you can't do this now, I can't look up a doctor online and see if he's any good. No, I need digital ID to do that. But it'll also track all of my wearables and monitor all my health care. And
which RFK Jr. envisions all of us having on our arms. That's why I said everything he said, it's like, it holds no weight to it because he's in with this. It's unbelievable, guys.
I have access to my insurance and everything the doctors are doing for me. That's great. And all of that data goes right into a centralized data bank for the government. Now, what else does digital ID do? Well, financial services. You'll need digital ID to open bank accounts, carry out online financial transactions. Food and sustainability. For farmers and consumers, you can verify where the produce is coming from to enhance the value and traceability in supply chains. For travel and mobility, your digital ID will help you book trips. It will help you go through the border control between countries and regions. On humanitarian response, it will give you the access to services to demonstrate qualifications to work in a foreign country. E-commerce, you'll need your digital ID to be able to shop, to conduct business transactions, and have access to secure payments. On social platforms, your new digital identity will protect you for your social interactions to access third-party services that rely on social media logins. Your e-government, that will allow you as a citizen to access and use services, to file taxes, to vote, and to collect benefits. With your telecommunications, it will help you, the user of digital ID, to own and use devices for service providers to monitor those devices and data on the network.
Wow.
And telecommunications also to monitor devices and sensors transmitting such data as energy usage, air quality, traffic congestion, all of those things. So you can see how helpful it's going to be. It will be in every aspect of your life.
Of course it will.
Now, the only thing that this leaves out is a digital currency. But digital ID lays all the framework. So then the government can say we have a digital ID, and it fits right in with your digital identity.
Okay, stop. Wow. Okay, see, y'all see how this is the progressions of this. A digital identification, a digital currency. Then you're going to have vaccines. Don't think that's not coming. That will be incorporated. All that. Remember when Bill Gates envisioned, and he came out and he said that that these things will be obsolete. That these smartphones will be obsolete soon. And then he believes we're going to go to digital tattoos. And with that tattoo, so there's your progression from taking all this stuff like this to eventually making it convenient to put it on your body in a form of a tattoo, whatnot. But then we go even further than that, and you go into places like Switzerland, where there's a huge populace of individuals there that are already putting implantable chips in their hands in the name of convenience, security, and the list goes on. So it's the progression. Eventually, right now we're on this phase, but eventually when everybody gets on board with this, we'll move. See how this has progressed, guys? Because there was at one time when these phones were flip phones, or actually they were brick phones, and they were dumb phones, what we would call dumb phones, because believe it or not, for all the younger folks out there, these things used to be for one purpose only, and that was for making phone calls. But then we progressed to, well, we're going to, not only can we make phone calls, but now we can make text messages. So now you can call people, you can text people, but then that's not good enough. So then we progressed to taking our computers from our desktops at home in our office to putting them here. So we have the accessibility of everything right here. Then we included social media apps, which destroyed society. In my opinion, social media has completely eroded society, the brains of people, the brain rot, all this. So now we have all of this incorporated here. Then they progressed to, well, security is not as good as we thought it was. So then they introduced the fingerprint. Remember when they put the fingerprint and you put your thumb in there, and everybody thought, I remember all of us Bible prophecy teachers and people that dealt with this stuff, we thought this was, this is so crazy. This is getting closer and closer. And then eventually, it went from, well, that's just that, putting your thumb on that little button, that takes a lot of time. So now let's introduce biometric facial recognition. So now it's facial recognition. So now you could just scan your face, do this. Then they went from your license. You don't have to have a physical license. You can have a digital license. And then we progress to everything else. Now it's all going digital. Digital identification system, just like Lynn Beck was talking about here. Everything will be on there. Your social security, your health insurance, your license, your identification, everything will be right there, and it will be convenient on a digital ID. Then once we get everybody on board with that, what's going to be the next progression? Somebody will come along, and no doubt they'll create this. If Bill Gates' prediction is right, let's just for the sake of conversation here, let's create a hypothesis here and say that he's correct. And somebody comes along and they come out with a digital tattoo where you can customize your tattoo, because who would not want to be able to you could go in and get your digital tattoo, and you could get it of whatever you want, your favorite team, your favorite, whatever. You can put that on there. So it's a cool looking symbol, your initials, whatever the case would be. And then in that little tattoo, that digital tattoo on your hand, will have all the information that you need, that instead of having this, you can just scan your hand. But then we'll move it even further. And if Elon Musk has his way, and other innovators like him who are creating these technologies like Neuralink and these with these brain transmitter chips and all these things that's going in your head, that would be in your forehead. If they go through with this, then we can put all that technology into your body. Because maybe some people say, oh, I don't really want that physical tattoo on me. I don't want that. Can you make it more convenient and put it in my body? And then, hello, ladies and gentlemen, then we get to Revelation 13, where you have a system set in place where people has voluntarily and mandatorily, I believe it'll be both. It'll start out voluntarily, but I believe, and now this is my opinion, it'll be voluntarily at first, but then look, y'all may not agree with me, but that's okay. This is my podcast. I'm just going to tell you my thoughts. And I believe the rapture will take place. I believe the harpazo, the gathering together of the saints, I believe that will take place before Revelation 13, before the mark of the beast and the image of the beast is put in place. I don't have to, we've talked about this several times. It would take me 15 minutes to develop that message and explain why I believe that. But nevertheless, I believe that the ecclesia of the church will be gone, but there will be people in the tribulation that are left behind because they have refused to accept the truth. The seeds were planted in them by people like us, people like you, their loved ones, their neighbors who are born again Christians who understood Bible prophecy, which is a remnant, because most churches are not teaching, equipping, or preaching about it. But there'll be a remnant of people that will know about this because you send them videos like this, and where we are warning them of this system that's being put in place. So they have the foreknowledge of this, but for whatever reason, because the enemy has convinced them that the cares of this life, the deceitfulness of riches, and all of these things has choked out the word, and they don't fully accept Christ as their Lord and Savior. And if they're here in the earth and the rapture takes place, they'll be left behind. They'll have to go through this. Okay. Now, if this system, and I believe we, the church, will be here all the way up to the very point where this system is about to go full wide open. Now, and I base that on 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, because once the man of sin is revealed, okay, then he starts implementing this system. Okay, so there'll be people that will be left behind who at this point, they'll know, watch this, they'll know, wait a minute, this is not something I want to put in my body, because I know that now they're looking in their Bible and saying, oh my gosh, if I take this, I'm damned for eternity. I'm done. So they will refuse this mark. They will refuse to worship the image. And John says in Revelation 20 that they'll be beheaded for their testimony. So what am I saying? I'm saying that I believe it's going to be both. It'll be voluntarily, but it'll be also mandatory. It'll be both. In my opinion, it'll be both. So this is crazy stuff. So let's go back. Let's go back and finish this video. Let's see what other insight he gives on this.
And that's just going to track everything you spend every dime on. But because you have digital identity, it will also help you, spend your money, where you can spend it, where you can't spend it. It will have complete control and oversight of your entire life.
Yay. Yeah.
Stu, I'm trying to think of some downsides on this one.
It's such a tough road to try to find any possible negative. The justification is bizarre. Is it really that they are saying it has something to do with illegal immigration? Because they have no concern over that whatsoever.
They have no concern over that. Here he is. Here he is trying to defend it with an interview on the BBC. BBC's not really hard. Okay, here he is. Cut 3.
One of our viewers got in touch and wanted us to ask this question. Russ Brown wanted us to ask you if you really believe that those profiting from human trafficking will think, oh dear, I have to check your digital ID now. I can't carry on paying you £1.50 an hour to work in my sweatshop.
I'm absolutely convinced that amongst the reasons that people travel through France, which is a safe country, to come to the United Kingdom, amongst the reasons is because it's easier to work in our illegal economy than it is in other countries. And we have to deal with that.
Bosses who are prepared to hire people illegally are not asking them for their national insurance card. So what's the evidence? What makes you think they're suddenly going to ask them for a digital ID?
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID, in order to work, because we have to stop illegal working. If you look at any of the raids, we've massively increased the number of raids on working premises. It is absolutely clear that people are working illegally in numbers.
But why do you think that them having a digital ID, having to have a digital ID, would stop that problem, when right now people are meant to have a national insurance number and card, and if they're not asked for that, a boss is willing already to break the rules? What's the difference going to be?
The difference is this is on point of starting, not a retrospective exercise as it now is. It is an automatic collection of the information by the government, so we know exactly who is working in our economy, and it will help us enforce the rules that are there. But there's no point people saying to me, why do we need it, when we all acknowledge there is a problem. People are working illegally in our economy. It is amongst the reasons that people want to come to the United Kingdom. We have to deal with that. I made a pledge that we would do whatever was necessary, use whatever tools were available to deal with illegal migration. I intend to do so.
It's hard to tell from that clip, especially if you're listening to it, because he's British. And so it's hard to hear flailing in British. Like, it doesn't come through with the accent, but that is what he's doing there. He's flailing. No answer to that whatsoever. He looks terrified.
There is no answer. There is no answer. They want digital ID to control the population. That's what all of this is about. Control your every movement, your every thought, your every word. Control it, regulate it, and make sure that you're kept in line. That's what digital ID is all about. It's not about the illegals. I mean, she's absolutely right. You want to crack down? Crack down. We close your company. Remember, they're not America. We close your company if you are found to have illegal aliens. We close you down. We close you down. I mean, that would send a strong message, but they're not doing it. They selectively enforce. And then they make a little show of it from time to time by marching. We do this. March some people into a big corporation. How many times did you see that happen in every presidency that you've ever seen? They're not taking it seriously. They do it for show, and it's strategic to keep you placated. Oh, we're doing something about it. They're not actually doing. All you have to do is stop.
We call that theater.
People from coming in. That's it. Stop people from coming in and start deporting the people who are already here. It's that simple.
One thing that's
digital
really great,
ID,
if you happen to be the United Kingdom, would be you're an island. It's really hard for people to cross the border from France. It's like really. Now I know there's a channel, but there's an access point there. It's pretty easy to keep people out.
And you know what? If you can swim the English Channel, I might give you citizenship. I might be like, all right, you're in good health.
You made it. We would do it with Cuba. If you can get here, all right, fine. It's pretty. You made it. Congratulations, you're here. But yeah, it's a ridiculous justification, particularly coming from this, strain of government over there.
Now, what kind of ridiculous justifications did they make for the pandemic to get the jab? Remember that? Remember all the mandatory, you won't be able to work, you'll be fired, you'll be terminated, you'll lose your job. Doctors lost their license. Medical personnel and doctors and physicians lost their their license to practice. All these things happen. And this is no different. Same thing. It's that totalitarianism operation at its finest,
which has been so open to this type of activity for a long time. But like this could possibly be the solution. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like saying you had to have a digital gun rights card or gun license, right? And it's like, well, aren't all the people who want to shoot people with guns that are illegal just not going to carry it?
Don't think that's not coming either, guys. There's let's just pull away. They're just kind of talking here. We think about this. Just like in Switzerland, when they've got, they're open to implantable chips in their hands, right? So they're working on, this is how they're going to enforce control over who has guns and who don't, because they'll match the gun with the chip in somebody's hand with the serial numbers, and it will sync together. They'll have this on the gun. I've read articles on this, and they'll sync it with the hand, and this is how they're going to easily track. So like this bolt action rifle, the thing that was used in Charlie Kirk's assassination, that, those guns are still out there in circulation, but we're talking about in the future. That's where it's going in the future. So again, let's just wrap this up and let's talk about this. So, how this framework is being put in place is, number one, you have a centralized control over commerce and identity. Now remember, the mark of the beast will be required for buying, selling, and trading, implying that there will be a unified, global, widespread system that includes non-participants. This will be a mandatory digital ID could eventually evolve into this by linking personal data. We're talking about biometrics, fingerprints, facial recognition, RFID chips, all of this, just like Glenn said, to banking, healthcare, travel, and transactions. These initiatives like the EU's digital identity wallet, we cover that. Then in India, they have what's called the Aadhaar system. And now we have this mandate here in the United Kingdom already tying IDs to services. All this is expanding to a global scale no doubt, the UN will be on board with this, the World Health Organization with their digital health passports. All this could enforce for non-compliance. If refusal to adopt the ID leads to being locked out of digital economies, a quote-unquote cashless society, this will absolutely fulfill Revelation 13. You will not be able to buy, sell, or trade. Okay, so number one, you have centralized control over commerce and identity. Number two, you have the physical and visible integration of this. The mark of the beast is described as being in the right hand and in the forehead. Some interpret this as some type of embedded or implanted devices for transactions. In the forehead could be, again, neutral interfaces like Neuralink. We just talked about that. Digital IDs could eventually evolve into implantable technology, microchips, etc., to, again, fulfill that. Then you have number three, you have the allegiance and spiritual implications of this. Remember, we covered this earlier. Revelation 13 says there will be a mark that signifies worship or loyalty to the beast because it is the false prophet who enforces it. A digital identification system could demand ideological compliance, such as pledging to certain global agendas. Which would be the beast system, the beast himself, the Antichrist, the first beast that rises up out of the sea. Then number four, you have this advancement of technological enablers that will continue to incorporate this. It advances in artificial intelligence. By the way, Trump has said America will lead the charge. He's already said that. Advances in artificial intelligence, blockchain, and 5G could make a digital ID inescapable. Central bank digital currencies integrated with IDs could track every transaction, enforcing rules like carbon limits or social credit scores. Hello, this is what China has had for years now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. The beast system is upon us. Now, we may be in the infancy stages of this. We may be beyond that. We may be, if I had to, let's just use this analogy here. As a human, you have you have it in the womb. I believe it was in the womb years ago, but now then you have the birth, and you have you have it as a child, a small child. That's where you're in the stages where you learn to walk. You're crawling, then you learn to walk, and then you become a toddler, and then you develop from a toddler into a teenager, and then from a teenager to a young adult, and then a young adult to a mid-age, and then you go into your adolescent years, into your elderly years. If this was on a scale like this, I believe this thing is already out of the womb. The technology's here. The book of Daniel says in the last days, knowledge shall increase and many shall run to and fro. We're there. The technological advances are here. The tools are here. Everything that we need to develop this is here. We're out of the womb. I think we're somewhere and we're now advancing into the adult stage of this. And this is terrifying. This is scary. If you don't know your Bible, if you're on the right side of the tracks and you're born again and you're serving God and your name is in the Lamb's Book of Life, this is exciting times. But if you're not born again, this could be terrifying to you if you don't know what to look for and you don't know what's coming. So that's why we always leave you with Luke 21:28. Jesus said, when you begin to see all of these things come into pass, look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption is drawing near. Guys, can you do me a favor? Share this, like this, go out, share it with your neighbors, share it with your coworkers, share it with your family members. These are great talking points. It's going to show them that the beast system is upon us. And if you like our content, you want to keep up with everything that we put out, and you don't want to miss a single headline, we do have a free app. It's available on Apple and Android. You can pick yours up today. Just download it, hit yes to push notifications, and you'll be squared away and you won't miss a single headline. Listen, we appreciate you guys joining us week after week, day after day. I mean, we're on here 5-6 days a week. Many of you guys in the chat, you're family to us. This is our ecclesia. This is our online gathering of our church family. We appreciate you. You guys know, and if you're new here, listen, we don't sell products. Like you see these mugs right here, and people's asked us how much are these. We don't sell these. This is just to get our ministry out there so people can get eyes on it. But we don't sell products. We don't sell books. We don't sell merchandise. We don't sell the app is free, or the subscription is free. There's absolutely everything is free to you guys. All we ask is if you're blessed by our ministry and you would like to come alongside with us and support us and partner with us, then we've got great information right here that's going to tell you how you can partner with End Time Headlines. Watch this, and we'll be right back.
If you enjoy our content and would like to partner with End Time Headlines, helping us make more people aware of the times and seasons which we are in from a prophetic perspective, you can go to endtimeheadlines.org and click Support. Here, you can give a one-time gift or a monthly pledge on our main website. This page also shows you how to give electronically through Cash App or Venmo. If you would like to give by check or money order, you can make it out to End Time Headlines at P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia 30655. Or you can give through our free End Time Headlines app by pressing the bottom right button that says Donate.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your generous giving, your support, and your partnership of our ministry. Again, you know who you guys are. You guys who contact us via by email, by messages. You send us physical letters and donations, and we know who you are, and we thank you, and we appreciate your generous support and partnership of our ministry. So many of you guys have asked, well, are you going to talk about the Trump speech with Benjamin Netanyahu, the new peace plan? Yes, we're going to talk about that this week. In fact, we'll probably cover that on tomorrow night's Wednesday night episode, which will be Wednesday night, October 1st. I'll be right here, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place, same channel. So be looking for that. And we've got a lot of other topics to talk about this week. So we're just trucking along. And we're just trying to get everything we can. Like I said at the beginning of this, there's so many events happening so fast, it's just hard to keep up with everything. So we want to keep you informed of the times and seasons in which we're in. So listen, we love you guys. We're going to sign off for tonight. Again, we hope to see you guys on the next one. Until then, I pray the Lord bless you, keep you, and may his countenance shine upon you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.